How many people here were issued with a script for their life when they were born? As I thought, nobody. I first realized that life didn't follow a script back in high school at age 16. In England, we had exams called the General Certificate of Education. And at that time, at that age, we had to pass a minimum of 5 subjects in order to be able to move on to the advanced topics, and from there on to university. I was taking 9 subjects, and so my plan was to pass 5 and then go on to study advanced math, physics, and chemistry before going on to university to study computer sciences. That was my plan. The script had been written. Then came the day the results were announced, and I passed 1, not 5, as I expected. That meant my plans were in ruins. I had to start again. I failed. But that didn't mean I was a failure. I just had to rewrite my script, rethink my strategy. So I took my exams again, passed them, and went into banking. You see, life isn't all scripted. It's not all mapped out for us by a bunch of Hollywood screenwriters. No, everything that we do is unscripted. It's unplanned. It's likely to change in an instant. Life is what we call improvised. And improvisation is merely the reaction of things that happen. How we react to those changes not only brings out our true character, but can also affect our character, either positively or negatively. Failure is an option, and if we allow ourselves to fail, we can learn from that experience and move on to things that are bigger and better. Now, whenever they hear the word improvisation, most people think of maybe improv comedy or possibly jazz music. I've been involved in improv comedy for a number of years now, and not only teach the subject, but I still perform on a regular basis. Improv comedy features interactions between actors, both verbally and physically, and we get often suggestions from the audience, but with minimal prepared structure. There has to be a basic agreement between the actors to make the scenes work. There has to be some basic rules to follow. Today I'm going to share with you 5 techniques from improv comedy that you can use in your lives to help improve your lives and your interactions with others. So, the 5 techniques. I'm about to demonstrate the main one. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and I would like you all collectively to answer no. Are you ready? No. Oh, okay, that wasn't the question. Okay. All right. Would you like to learn the 5 basic rules of improv comedy? No. Okay, bye. All right, let's try that again. This time I want you to collectively answer yes. Would you like to learn the 5 basic rules of improv comedy? Yes. Great. You see how that works. You just learned rule number 1. Never say no. By saying no, you're actually telling the other person that you don't want to interact or converse with them. Now, okay, there may be times when that's perfectly appropriate, but sometimes it suggests a rudeness or an indifference to the situation. In improv comedy, we go one step further by not just saying yes, but yes and. That helps to confirm the agreement and also build on the suggestion. Now, I'm going to do a little demonstration here to show the difference between yes and the phrase yes but, which is a phrase often used by a lot of people. And for this little demonstration, I need the help of my friend Scott. So, welcome, Scott. Scott and I are going to have a little dialogue, and I'm going to respond to whatever Scott says with the phrase yes, but in my sentences.
So I think we should... Is this on? I think we should throw a surprise birthday party for Bill.
Yes, but I don't think he likes parties.
Yeah, but it's not every year you turn 50.
Yes, but he's always going on about getting old, and I don't think he wants to be reminded.
But it's such a big milestone.
Yeah, but think of all the extra cost and the time involved.
Oh, you're just a stick in the mud.
Okay, now we're going to repeat that scenario, but this time I'm going to use the phrase yes and.
I think we should throw a surprise party for Bill.
Yes, and it would be a great way to celebrate him turning 50.
Yeah, and I'll get some cake and some beer.
Yes, and we can have a collection to buy him a big present.
I hear he loves fishing.
Yes, and we can buy him a weekend at that new fishing lodge on the lake.
Great, I'll start making plans.
Thank you, Scott. You see the difference there? Yes, but provokes disagreement, disharmony, and conflict, whereas the yes and promotes agreement, harmony, and solutions. You probably know a lot of people who are yes buts. I certainly do. Take my mother-in-law. Please. I think she invented the phrase. You say something positive to her, and she typically reacts with a, yes, but I can't, / won't, / didn't, / haven't, / never will, yada, yada, yada. Honestly, yes, but means no. Rule number 2 is to make an offer rather than ask a question. For example, that's a very flattering yellow dress you're wearing, Mother, rather than, what are you wearing? In improv comedy, by making an offer of a suggestion or creating a character, the fellow actors have something to build on that they can work with and develop using the yes and technique. In real life, we ask questions to ascertain information, but sometimes those questions can seem a little invasive to the other person. For example, I know somebody who regularly goes up to complete strangers and starts asking them very personal questions, to which they usually recoil, give a polite yes or no, and then try to get away as quickly as possible. If, however, the technique of saying something positive or perhaps even making a compliment first had been used, then the other person would be more likely to accept the interaction and to build on the conversation. Rule number 3 is accept. Accept what you're given and make the best of it. Accept that the other person has a right to their opinion, even if you disagree. Rule number 3, accept what you're given. So, if a fellow actor comes to me and says, that's a very flattering yellow dress you're wearing, Mother, I can't just turn round and say, well, actually, I'm not your mother, I'm the tax collector, and this is a black suit. No, I have to adapt and say, why, thank you, dear. As it's Easter, I thought I would try and match the daffodils. You remember I told you I used to work in a bank? Well, I did pretty well. I passed all my banking exams, and I had several promotions rising to senior assistant manager. Soon I'd be a manager on the big money in my own office, in charge. That was my plan. The script had been written, and after a 25-year career, all was on track. But after 25 years, the times they were a-changing. Cutbacks, cost savings, and downsizing became the new vocabulary. One day, as I returned from a vacation, I was met at the door and escorted straight into the office of the chief manager. There he told me that more than half of the jobs in the office had been eliminated, and mine was one of them. After 25 years of loyal service, my reward was no more job. That meant my plans were in ruins. I had to start again. I failed, but that didn't mean I was a failure. I just had to rewrite my script, rethink my strategy. I'd already taken qualifications in management training, and so I became a training consultant. a new career which has given me years of satisfaction since then. I've probably had gazillions of conversations with other people where I didn't agree with what they were saying or their thought processes. But that didn't mean just because we disagreed that they were in any way inferior to me or that they were wrong. It just meant we disagreed. Rule number 4 is listen intently, eventually. It's important to listen intently in improv comedy to make sure that you don't cause confusion and go off in the wrong direction. In life, it's important to listen intently to your conversation partner to make sure that you don't cause confusion, conflict, or even start making enemies. Listening intently to the other person is very important before you start talking yourself. Have you ever been in that situation where you've been hearing somebody but not really listening to them? You're just waiting for them to stop so you can talk at them? I think we've all been in that situation. A couple of instances here to show you why it's important to listen intently. Let me ask you this. Is it legal for a man to marry his widow sister? Your response? Yes? No? Actually, he can't marry anybody. He's dead. Is it legal for a man to marry his widow's sister? Now, if I'd asked you, is it legal for a man to marry his widowed sister, your response would have been very different. So which version did you hear? Try this one. How many animals of each type did Moses take onto the ark? The answer? None. You see, it was Noah who had the ark. Moses had the tablets. Did you listen intently and get the right answer? Or did you just hear and make an assumption? Listen intently to make sure you get the right answer, get the right information, and give the right response. Rule number 5 is find the fun. We all have to do things in life that we don't like, don't want to do, or maybe have nasty implications. But as a wise musical nanny once said, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. So if you can find something, however remote, to add a little fun into any task that you're doing, completing it will seem so much easier. As kids, we're always having fun. We're playing all the time. We're inventing games. But somehow when we move into adulthood, those games seem sort of childish, and the fun seems to disappear out of our lives. Well, it's time to bung it back in again. In improv, we're always having fun. We refer to our practice sessions as therapy. It's great to be able to explore the humor into realistic situations and to enjoy the twists and turns as each scene gives us. You know, life isn't a dress rehearsal. So you accept it for what it is. Make the best of it while you have it. And find the fun in life. Improvise. Of course, it's nice to have all those plans. You should plan. Plan your future, plan your life, plan your goals, plan your vacation, plan your retirement. But if life ever throws you a curveball, deals you a bad hand, or drops you in the proverbial doo-doo, then take control. Trust your instincts. Throw away that script and improvise. If you use these 5 basic rules of improv comedy, you will improve your life.